Imagine finding out that a simple kitchen habit you repeat every single week to save money and avoid wasting food is secretly putting your health in serious danger. Does that sound hard to believe? Unfortunately, it is a reality for millions. There is a common routine we all do without a second thought, which is reheating our leftovers. The truth about what happens chemically inside 5 specific foods the second time heat touches them is something most people go their entire lives without knowing. Today I am going to show you exactly which 5 foods become potentially dangerous when reheated and what they turn into inside your body. I will explain why this invisible transformation may connect directly to severe health risks, including an increased vulnerability to pancreatic cancer. I am Dr. Eric Lawson, and I am sharing this because every person who cooks at home deserves to understand these hidden risks. In my medical career, I have sat across from far too many patients who received devastating diagnoses. They often looked at me in shock and asked why nobody had ever warned them about these daily habits sooner. I cannot stay quiet any longer. Here is the most crucial thing you need to understand right now. Your pancreas does not give you early warning signs. It does not hurt or swell when it is first being damaged. While the damage quietly builds up over months and years, you feel absolutely nothing. By the time you feel wrong enough to visit a clinic, the issue has often progressed beyond the point of simple medical help. The 5-year survival rate for this specific cancer is under 12%. That terrifying number is exactly why everything I am about to tell you matters so much. At least 3 of the 5 foods I am going to reveal are sitting in your refrigerator at this very moment, waiting to be warmed up for dinner tonight. Let us look at the first food. I guarantee this one is going to shock you the most. Think about those crispy golden fries left over from last night. Think about that fried chicken you wrapped carefully in foil because it felt like a total waste to throw it away. What do you usually do the next day? You probably toss it in the microwave, or even worse, you heat a little fresh oil in a pan to crisp it up again. It is exactly at that moment that you activate a chemical process inside that food that your pancreas has almost no defense against. Here is the educational truth that almost nobody tells you about cooking oils. Specifically, the ones most people have on their kitchen shelf right now, like sunflower oil, corn oil, and soybean oil, are highly unstable under heat. When you heat them a second time, they undergo a process called deep oxidative breakdown. That process generates a class of toxic compounds called aldehydes. You do not need to memorize complex chemical names to understand the danger they pose to your cellular health. From a biological perspective, the free radicals released from reheated oil act like hundreds of sparks flying off an out-of-control fire. Each spark flies randomly in every direction, landing on your healthy cells and destroying them from the inside. This includes the DNA that tells each cell how to grow, when to stop, and when to die. When that genetic code is corrupted enough times, the cell stops following instructions and starts multiplying out of control. That is the fundamental mechanism of how cancer begins. Here is what is truly terrifying about your anatomy. Your pancreas is one of the most vulnerable organs to this specific type of biochemical attack. When you consume food loaded with these aldehyde compounds, your body immediately triggers a full inflammatory response to try to contain the damage. But if you are eating reheated fried food multiple times a week, your body never gets the chance to turn that inflammatory response off. I want you to pause right now and honestly think about your habits. How many times did you reheat something fried just this week? Please comment that number below, because confronting that habit is the first step to protecting your body. A permanently inflamed pancreas is like an organ trying to do delicate precision work inside a burning building. Every digestive enzyme it tries to produce and every cell it tries to protect happens in a chemical war zone it was not designed to survive in. Eventually, it cannot keep up and you start feeling vague symptoms. You might feel a dull heaviness in your upper abdomen after meals that you dismiss as overeating. You might experience an unexplained fatigue or a vague discomfort just below your ribs that you call poor digestion. So how do we apply this knowledge to protect ourselves? The primary rule is absolutely non-negotiable. You must never reheat fried food in oil. Do not use fresh oil, and do not reuse the same oil. To save leftover food, you must only use a dry oven or an air fryer. Dry heat brings back the texture without creating a single drop of new chemical damage. Frying oil must always be single-use only. Fry today and throw it away today. From a preventative health perspective, comparing the cost of oil against the risk of pancreatic cancer makes the choice incredibly clear. Now get ready because the second food on this list is going to surprise you even more. Now get ready because the second food on this list is going to surprise you far more than the first one did. I know this because it is a food I myself have recommended to patients for years. It is an ingredient that appears on every superfoods list ever written, and something that every nutrition expert on the planet calls one of the healthiest things you can possibly consume. But when you reheat it, it turns into something it absolutely should not. Picture a typical Sunday evening in your kitchen. You cook a beautiful pan of sautéed spinach with garlic and olive oil. It is deep green and wilted perfectly. You feel genuinely good about your choices because you are being healthy. You are eating your greens, and you are doing exactly what you are supposed to do for your body. You carefully put the leftovers in a container in the fridge. Then, on Monday for lunch, you take it out and microwave it for 90 seconds. It smells exactly the same. It looks exactly the same. It even tastes exactly the same. But while you are sitting there eating it, that second round of heat has just triggered a chemical reaction inside that spinach that the World Health Organization has officially linked to severe cancer risk. Here is the exact educational breakdown of the biological events happening inside that container. All leafy greens, including spinach, kale, chard, and arugula, contain naturally occurring compounds called nitrates. When the vegetables are fresh, these nitrates are completely harmless. There is zero problem with them. But when you cook these vegetables and let them sit in your refrigerator, the bacteria naturally present in the food begin a quiet transformation. They begin converting those harmless nitrates into a different compound altogether called nitrites. The real medical danger happens when you apply heat for a second time. Under that new heat, those nitrites react with amino acids naturally present in the food and form highly toxic compounds called nitrosamines. I want you to burn that word into your memory, right now. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies nitrosamines as probable human carcinogens. From a medical perspective, they are highly genotoxic. This means they go directly inside the nucleus of your cells and damage your DNA from within the genetic machinery itself. Think of your DNA as the master blueprint your body uses to build and repair every tissue. Nitrosamines act like an intruder breaking into that secure blueprint room every few days, silently changing one measurement and erasing one vital instruction. Over months and years of repeated exposure, your cellular repair system simply cannot catch every single error. This is specifically terrifying for your pancreas. Once these nitrosamines enter your bloodstream after eating that reheated spinach, they travel to every organ. Your pancreas is repeatedly called into the detoxification effort, bathing in genotoxic chemicals while enduring chronic biochemical stress. The fix for this is very simple. You need to eat your cooked greens cold. You can put cold cooked spinach in a grain bowl or fold it into a wrap. Every nutrient is still there, but there is zero nitrosamine formation because there is no second application of heat. If you need them warm, cook only what you are eating right now. Please take a moment to be completely honest with yourself about this innocent routine. How many times this week did you cook leafy greens and reheat them the next day? Write your real number in the comments below right now so we can raise awareness about how common this dangerous habit truly is. You just wrote down your number for leafy greens, and I thank you for your honesty. Now we move to the third food on our list, and this one I firmly believe is going to be the most shocking thing we cover today. Why? Because it is the most innocent-looking food in existence. It has no strong flavor, no strong smell, and the danger hidden inside it cannot be detected by any of your senses. Think about the pot of rice you made a few days ago. You probably made a large batch because it is easier that way. You have been reheating portions of it every single day. This is a completely normal routine. Every household on the planet does this. But hidden inside that rice, from the exact moment it stopped cooking and started cooling, a biological process has been quietly unfolding that most people have never once been warned about. From an educational perspective, I need to introduce you to a specific bacterium called Bacillus cereus. This organism is naturally present in raw rice from any supermarket anywhere in the world. When you cook the rice, the boiling water kills the active bacteria. However, it does not kill the spores. A spore is a hardened biological survival structure that certain bacteria produce specifically to survive extreme conditions. Boiling water cannot destroy them. Normal cooking temperatures cannot touch them. They sit completely dormant, in your perfectly cooked rice, invisible and waiting. They are waiting for the temperature to drop into their ideal multiplication range, which happens to be the exact temperature of your kitchen counter. As that rice cools down, those spores wake up. They begin to multiply rapidly, and as they do, they produce toxins. Here is the critical medical detail that matters most. One of those specific toxins is heat stable. When you microwave that leftover rice the next day, the heat will kill the live bacteria. But the toxin they already produced while sitting on your counter is not affected by your microwave at all. It survives the reheating process completely intact and enters your body in full working order. Think of it like this. Imagine a factory producing toxic chemicals in your basement without you knowing. You eventually find out and shut it down, turning off every single machine. But the barrels of toxic waste produced before you shut it down are still sitting there in the warehouse. Your microwave shuts down the biological factory, but the toxic barrels are already in your bowl and you are about to eat them. So how does this connect to your pancreas? Repeated low-level exposure to these invisible toxins creates chronic low-grade inflammation throughout your gut. Medical science has clearly mapped what researchers call the gut-pancreas axis. Your gut and your pancreas share a blood supply, lymphatic drainage, and inflammatory signaling pathways. A chronically inflamed gut sends those inflammatory signals directly to your pancreas every single time. The fix for this is simple, but you must follow it strictly. You must cool your cooked rice within 1 hour of cooking. Spread it wide and shallow because more surface area means faster cooling and less time for those spores to activate. You must refrigerate it immediately and eat it within 24 hours. When you do reheat it, make sure it is steaming hot throughout. I want you to be completely honest right now. How many days has the leftover rice in your refrigerator been sitting there? 1 day, or maybe 3 days, or even a full week? Please comment the real number below, because that number tells you exactly how much risk you have been quietly accepting without even knowing it. You just discovered the invisible dangers hiding in your leftover rice. But the fourth food on our list introduces a completely different kind of threat. Nearly every family eats this specific food multiple times a week. The danger here does not come directly from the food itself, but from a specific feature of one very common kitchen appliance that creates invisible pockets inside the food. These pockets look perfectly safe from the outside, but they hide a severe biological hazard. Imagine you made roasted chicken thighs last night. They were golden brown and perfectly cooked. You saved them in a sealed container in the refrigerator. Today at lunch, you put 2 pieces on a plate and microwave them for 2 minutes. You touch the outside, it feels steaming hot, and you sit down to eat. This scenario is a completely normal routine in millions of homes. But that exact method of reheating, touching the outside and assuming the inside safely matches, is exactly where the unseen danger lies. Here is the crucial educational truth most people do not know. A microwave does not heat food the way a traditional oven does. Instead, it excites water molecules inside the food to generate heat. However, different parts of the same piece of chicken have different water content, tissue density, and fat distribution. Because of this uneven composition, some parts reach high temperatures that easily kill bacteria, while other parts just centimeters away stay at exactly the temperature where bacteria not only survive but actively multiply. Medical professionals call these areas cold spots. You cannot see them or feel them from the outside. The surface can be scorching hot while the center sits at the precise lukewarm temperature dangerous bacteria prefer. 2 specific bacteria make this incredibly terrifying when dealing with chicken. They are Salmonella and Campylobacter. Proper initial cooking eliminates them, but cross-contamination after cooking is entirely possible from your hands or utensils. Those invisible cold spots in your microwave chicken become warm, moist incubators for these bacteria to rapidly multiply. A full Salmonella infection is a massive systemic biological event involving high fever and severe cramping. Your entire immune system mobilizes for a violent war in your gut, pulling your pancreas directly into that severe inflammatory response. But as a doctor, what concerns me even more is the repeated low-dose exposure. These doses are too small to cause immediate illness, but large enough to keep your gastrointestinal tract in a constant state of low-grade chronic inflammation. Those minor, repeated exposures accumulate quietly over the years, sending continuous inflammatory signals to your pancreas until it simply cannot cope. Here is how you fix this safely. The best method is using your traditional oven. Set it to 175 degrees Celsius, cover the chicken tightly with foil, and heat it for 15 to 20 minutes. That moist trapped heat reaches every single fiber uniformly, leaving absolutely zero cold spots anywhere in the meat. If you absolutely must use a microwave, you have to cut the chicken into small, uniform pieces. Use medium power instead of maximum power. Stop halfway through to rearrange all the pieces, and let it rest covered for 2 full minutes before eating. Alternatively, just eat it cold. Cold chicken shredded over a fresh salad eliminates every single risk we just discussed. Zero reheating means zero cold spots and zero inflammatory cascade reaching your pancreas. If you found this medical information eye-opening and want to keep protecting your long-term health, please hit the like button right now and subscribe to the channel so you never miss these vital health warnings. We have now reached the 5th and final food on our list, and this one is unique because it carries 2 completely separate chemical dangers happening at the exact same time. You face 2 different attacks on your pancreas from a single bowl of leftovers. Think about the roasted potatoes you made last Sunday. They had a perfect golden crispy outside and a fluffy inside. Then on Monday evening, you toss them in a pan with a little oil to crisp them back up. You eat them feeling resourceful and practical. But right now, inside those potatoes, 2 completely independent chemical processes are attacking your pancreas simultaneously. From an educational perspective, let us break down the first attack. It comes from a chemical compound called acrylamide. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies it as a probable human carcinogen. It forms when starchy foods are exposed to temperatures above 120 degrees Celsius. That golden color you love on a roasted potato is the result of a chemical process, and acrylamide forms as part of that exact reaction. Here is the critical medical science that makes reheated potatoes specifically more dangerous. When a potato is cooked once and then refrigerated, its surface naturally dries out. Sugars and amino acids concentrate heavily at that dry surface. When you apply high heat a second time, the conditions for acrylamide formation become more favorable than during the first cooking. You may be getting a meaningfully higher carcinogen load from your reheated potatoes than from the original meal. This is direct carcinogenic damage to your pancreatic cells. Now we must look closely at attack number 2. This one exhausts your pancreas in a way that compounds silently over the years. When potatoes are cooked and then cooled completely in the refrigerator, something remarkable happens biologically. Part of the regular starch inside converts into resistant starch. Resistant starch is genuinely protective for your body. It moderates your blood sugar and feeds beneficial gut bacteria. A cold-cooked potato is metabolically a completely different food than a hot one. But the moment you reheat that potato at high heat, that resistant starch converts back into regular, rapidly digested starch. The beneficial transformation is destroyed in 90 seconds in your microwave. What was once gentle on your blood sugar is now a massive spike. Specifically, the beta cells that produce insulin are forced into a sudden, urgent release. Doing this multiple times a week drives those beta cells into repeated emergency production events. Progressive beta cell exhaustion is a documented medical pathway toward chronic conditions that precede pancreatic cancer. If you refry those leftover potatoes in oil, you dangerously stack the hazards of our first food on top of our beta. 5th food. You get maximum acrylamide and maximum oil oxidation concentrated into one single dish. How many times this week did you reheat potatoes? Please comment the honest number right now below. The fix is practical. Eat your cooked potatoes cold whenever you possibly can. A cold potato salad keeps all the resistant starch and eliminates additional acrylamide. If you need them warm, steam them or use low heat. Never ever refry an already cooked potato. We have now gone through all 5 foods. Before you close this video, I need to tell you something crucial. If you have been making these kitchen mistakes for years, please know that it is not too late. The human body has a capacity for recovery that genuinely humbles me. Chronic inflammation can come down and damaged cells get replaced by new ones. What I am asking you to carry out of here today is not fear, because fear paralyzes. I want you to carry practical knowledge. Let us summarize the lessons you must apply tonight. Reheat fried food dry in an oven and never in oil. Eat your leafy greens cold, or cook only what you need. Cool your rice fast and eat it within 24 hours. Use the oven for leftover chicken or simply eat it cold. Keep your cooked potatoes cold whenever you can, or use gentle low heat. Your pancreas has been working for you in complete silence every single day of your life, never asking for anything in return. Through small habits practiced consistently, you can start protecting it. The power to prevent severe pancreatic stress is in your hands every time you open the refrigerator. If this video gave you real value, please hit the like button and leave a comment sharing which food surprised you the most. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss these health warnings. Most importantly, think of one person you love right now who reheats leftovers every day and send them this video. That might be the most important thing you do today. I am Dr. Eric Lawson. Take care of yourselves and I will see you in the next one.